This time around, the crowd can definitely live up
Yeah.
to that first crowd there, but I'll tell you this much, you know, nothing against Orange. There we go, guys. Yes, that is right. It looks like we are finally ready to get things going once again here on a Honcast. Of course, a DreamHack event live here from Jönköping, Sweden. DreamHack Summer 2012. Glad to be here. Ziori, what about you?
Oh, I am more than glad to be here. We've got one game complete, as we mentioned, many more to go, but I think we have game number 2 coming up here.
We do.
Just hopefully under a minute, as we've been delayed here for a few.
Yeah, we're good to go now, so we can go ahead and let the players finally know that we're good. Obviously, getting a little bit antsy, understandable completely.
Certainly.
Plenty of matches to play, and they definitely want to get this event started. So, but should be good to go now.
Yep.
And here we are. We're going to have Fnatic Raid Call taking on BxF.org. Again, as we're kind of talking about a little bit of that, I guess you can call it a pre-game there, pre-testing even.
Yes.
Both these teams, you know, you see this matchup on the board of matchups. Obviously, I'm really intrigued by this whole event, but if you had to select and choose maybe a couple of matchups that you really wanted to see, this has to be one of them. This is a can't-miss match for this tournament.
Absolutely right. And, you know, we were talking as well, BxF, of course, the European qualifier, or qualified team, and Fnatic is one of those European teams as well that would have given them a run for their money if Fnatic wasn't already qualified. So I think it's time to get into the game, go Breaky, and see what hero picks we have in store.
It looks like both teams are actually in the game, and we're going to go ahead and go start with the banning phase as always, of course. But yeah, BxF versus Fnatic Raid Call here. Crowd, are you ready to watch a hell of a Heroes of New Earth match, guys? This is, yeah, okay, we'll try that again.
Yeah.
We'll try that again. Crowd, are you ready to watch some Heroes of New Earth? There we go, that's better at least. Better at least.
A little bit, all right.
Could still be better.
I'm sure they'll get more excited once we get into this game and they see how epic this match is going to be between these two Goliath teams. I'm forgetting the trademark term I used already, the EU champions here, but should be a hell of a match, as you said.
Bans, they're happening, and we already have something very interesting to talk about.
Wow.
You see a lot of chat going on there, and for obvious reasons here on BxF and Fnatic's side. So the bans started out with your Mage Bane, your Meraxes, nothing too crazy there, but then a Dark Lady ban by BxF.org. So giving some respect to Era right there.
Yes, certainly right. Era is pretty well known for being one of the best carry players around. You put a hard carry in the hands of Era, and you can pretty much rest assured that he's going to get pretty farmed at some point in that game, unless it ends up being a 15-minute concede or a super aggressive push strategy. Era's going to find a way to get some farm. And, you know, although seeing a Dark Lady ban is a little bit surprising up against someone like Era, as you said, some respect coming out.
Yeah, and another point on that, BxF and Fnatic are two teams that play, not only have they played against each other, you know, quite a bit, but obviously, as I said earlier, you know, BxF really respects Fnatic when it comes to their skill level. When they understand completely that they are the 3-time returning DreamHack Champions. You know, sure, their roster is a little bit different, but, you know, depending on who you talk to, you can even argue that's even a better team now. So, still very, very dangerous, and again, no doubt a big powerhouse favorite team for this event. So, BxF, they're not going to come into this, you know, They've been playing a lot lately. Maybe we'll catch them off guard. Don't expect that. They're going to come to this full throttle.
Yeah.
And that Dark Lady ban, I think, even shows that even more. That they respect Era. They respect the fact that they've been using it lately.
Yeah, definitely. And as you can see in chat here, Insania actually bringing up an interesting point now that Polywog Priest is banned as well. Armadon, Silhouette, and Ophelia, those last few bans following that Parasite. No Poly Balfagor combo, which we actually have seen Black Fade run in the past. They're one of the few teams that actually has worked Balfagor in, so that's always going to be something to keep an eye out for anytime we see Black Fade in this event.
Yeah, and seeing some good old Balfagor definitely promotes some great pushing presence. So would be a lot of fun to see a hero like that. So we'll see if that happens to come to the table. But the banning phase has finished here. So overall, been over a couple of them. It did finish off with Parasite, Silhouette, Armadon, and Polywog Priest, and then Ophelia, the last ban right there. So you got your Armadon ban right there by Fnatic Raycon with their second to last ban. Of course, Les QQ, amongst others, very, very powerful Armadon player, so can't be too crazy about that ban right there. But nothing too much to talk about, although the Polywog Priest ban, I guess, once again, we see a Polywog ban. So.
Yeah, I mean, per usual, the bans aren't super crazy, and I think that's a recurring theme. We don't see players just hitting the random button when it comes to bans, but I'm a little bit intrigued to see Fnatic pick up Bubbles and Nymphora with their first set of picks here. Mostly because Tempest was still on the board, and I'm astonished to see Black Fade pass up Tempest. There are a lot of junglers banned, and Tempest is going to be a very valuable hero left on the board.
Yeah.
If she's not picked up, I'm going to be shocked.
Yeah, especially with Fnatic. I mean, Fly, fantastic Tempest player. But for that matter, of course, Simsize as well. Or Insania, excuse me, actually, for Black Fade. So, yeah, really wouldn't be surprised either to see if perhaps a Tempest possible pickup for either one of these teams. You do got to keep the forest, of course, as well. Yeah, interested to see if also that Jerizaiah makes it throughout the bit and picks as well. So, picks are happening, though, here. Obviously, the first pick was Pebbles over there for Black Fade. And they happen to be able to follow that up with a Tundra Aluna. So very, very powerful synergy there, especially when it comes to ganking and being aggressive, especially with that Tundra Pebbles. Now, Fnatic, on the other hand, they did a couple of picks with Nymphora Bubbles. And I think a big reason for that Nymphora pick was simply because they didn't want to see him paired up with the Pebbles. So
it's a great point to make, and I think you're exactly right. So in retrospect now, I guess I can retract that surprise statement about Tempest. But still, I mean, the point's the same. And I mean, looking at Fnatic's roster here, Tempest could fit very well. They're going for that kind of AoE ult synergy, of course. Flux and Engineer is a combo we have seen from time to time, and if you can get that perfect ult combo off, it can be quite deadly. Bubbles synergizing with that very nicely with all that AoE damage.
Obviously, these teams have been practicing a lot lately, especially at this event. Even teams even coming several days before, just did some landing and whatnot against one another. Fnatic, apparently, they have been playing a bit of this Engineer Flux combination, not only online, like you even stated, but even at these practice matches. So clearly, they weren't afraid to show that they're going to be using it. So yeah, very powerful combination of heroes. If you get that Flux ulti into an Engineer ultimate, it can be very devastating for the opposition. So I'm really excited to see this Flux pick though, because he is just one of those heroes we don't see too often on the competitive scene, and all the way from the laning phase to see how he's used throughout the game, it's a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, I mean, any hero that has sort of a tablet of command-like ability that where you can push or pull enemies and move them. It's always interesting. Always a high skill cap hero to see, and I'm certainly going to be excited. I'll be curious to see who plays Flux as well on this Legion side. I'll be curious. And to bring up that point, though, as you said, they've been experimenting with combos like this in their recent scrimming. The few scrims that I've had the opportunity to see, it seems teams really are experimenting. I looked over the shoulder of someone last night. I'm just like, wow, those heroes really? But when you're playing 12 hours of straight scrims to boot camp for an event like this, it makes sense that you're going to have some variants and try out some new things. And I'm still hoping we see some surprises here in this event as far as hero picks and compositions.
Well, we just got another one.
Oh. Oh.
I noticed you weren't really. I was waiting for you to turn back and be like, wow, okay. So, yeah, we definitely got some interesting stuff happening here. So, a Predator Empath. Final 2 picks here for blackfade.org. So, clearly, this is a kind of a secret strategy that they may have had up their sleeve. So, I will say Predator's a hero, man, that he can dominate in that late game phase. And if you pair him up with an Empath, he can wreck face. So.
Oh yeah, Predator is very, very powerful. But in my mind, I think of, or at least is sort of generic theory crafting. You know, his what is it? Carnivorous here steals current HP. So against a really strong, beefy, tanky hero, he does pose a little bit of a counter. And we see this Legion side isn't particularly tanky, pending their last pick here. So sort of interesting. But whoa. Chronos going to be the last pick.
In case you weren't aware of who that hero was, we'll let you know.
So Chronos going to be the last pick for Fnatic here, which is interesting as well. This lineup on both sides interesting. So I suppose we are sort of getting our wish here, seeing some different picks.
It's funny because, you know, when expecting some surprise picks here and there, I at least, you know, maybe expected from Team GA, the Southeast Asian teams, you know. Maybe, you know, 1 or 2 crazy picks from these two teams, but, you know, the fact that they're going right off the bat, obviously you only face each other team once, so you need to make that chance count. And so it's a case of best of the one. You face that team once, why not go for a crazy strategy that catches them off guard? And again, BxF, I love seeing that Predator Empath combination, but as you mentioned, Fnatic finishing it off with Chronos. So another hero we don't see too often, but I will say he fits a similar mindset in the same of Dark Lady and Mage Bane, where it's all about that sit back and farm, and Era going to be playing him, 500 plus GPM incoming.
Yeah, Era's definitely going to be playing him. The one thing that jumps out at me about Chronos, though, we did see that one game way back where Chronos was played more as an initiator, built as a tank. And that's always a viable option, at least, that's on the back burner of my mind. In the hands of Era, I think I would agree with you. We'll probably see something closer to a 400 or 500 GPM Chronos here eventually. But time will tell, of course. And the inevitable pause here as we get into game one. And I think this will give us the opportunity, guys. We have Fnatic Raid Call facing off against BlackFade.org crowd. We're going to give you one more chance here. Let's hear some noise for these two teams. All right. Woo!
It's always a risk.
Always a risk.
It's always a risk.
We had a pause. I figured I'd go for it.
Yeah, maybe it's because there's just not really anything happening right now because of the pause. So I'm sure as the game picks up, I'm sure as the action starts happening and kills start happening, maybe that'll change. But you know, I would hope so. Again, these are two of the best teams in Heroes of New Earth going at it right now. So when you ask for top tier Heroes of New Earth play, you're definitely going to get that here in this matchup. But man, you know, touching on that Chronos pick a little bit more. Obviously, again, here the Arrow's going to play, and I'm sure we'll do just fine with him. But you know, look at this lineup again. You already got that. You already got the Chronos. Wow, the Flux Engineer combination. You got a Bubbles Kelfield on top of that. Now you got a Chronosphere added to that. So that could prove to be very deadly here for a Hellborn team. If you know you got a Flux Ultimate that pulls them all into a great Chronosphere, it can be very difficult to deal with. So obviously more technical issues, unfortunately, on the side of the players this time. So hopefully that does get sorted out.
Yeah, so it looks like we will be stuck in this pause for at least a minute or here, as there was a blue screen of sorts. So should take well, however long it takes to reboot the computer and get back on Skype or what have you. Perhaps raid call if you're Fnatic.
See what you did there.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm still intrigued. You know, what's interesting about Empath, though, as just sort of a hero pick in our current metagame, is it seems like there's a point where that ultimate sort of falls off a little bit. Of course, you can hop inside of a hero and really buff them up. At level 6, that's huge. You know, as you mentioned, that's where Predator you know, might be able to pick up some momentum. But level 16, level 17 and higher, it sort of feels like that ultimate, you're stuck in a 4v5. You know, does that ultimate pay off really in that late game?
You're enhancing that carry so much more with it at attack. So obviously, I definitely understand what you're saying, but it is really, in that sense, it is kind of a forward side. But don't forget, I mean, Empath can still use her ability. She can still use a very powerful wall ability, and that will always be useful throughout the whole game.
4.5 versus 5.
Your lifestyle. That is a safer way, probably a better way to put it, definitely. But yeah, I mean, again, I think of heroes that could use a hero like Empath in this game, and obviously Predator is definitely one of those heroes. So I'm really intrigued by the combination. I will say though, you know, Empath earlier on, the cooldown on that as it's called as one ability, her ultimate, you know, goes from 100 seconds to 80 seconds to 60 seconds, which it lasts for 30 seconds total. So you know, if you happen to get level 16, that's a 50% uptime that you can have on the hero of your choice. So
you know, also we were talking about, or we're talking mostly about Empath and Predator, but also Empath and Tundra could be viable early on. You know, Tundra's one of those heroes that can certainly snowball at those low levels. So, you know, adding that attack speed could synergize nicely with his cold shoulder. Certainly a possibility as well.
Or Empath and Pebbles.
Empath and Pebbles. I mean, Empath and really anyone here. Empath and a Luna. I can think of a worse combo.
Yeah. Empath and Nymphora, maybe? That would just be weird.
That would be a little funky.
Yeah.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Well, Yeah, no, obviously, yeah. It's not, she doesn't always. The cool thing about her ultimate too, it can be used as an escape mechanism. I mean, if she's happening to get chased down, if she has an ultimate of hers off cooldown, she'll hop into an opponent. You know, similar to Parasitic Course hopping into a creep, obviously different and much more effective in that sense. But she can use it for escaping. So we'll see if that tends to happen here throughout this game. Of course, going to be played by Insania here.
But not only as an escape mechanism just for Empath, but also the hero that she jumps into, because that ultimate also does allow for that little speed boost or sprint, whatever you want to call it, which can help in the getaway of whoever she's trying to save. So, we're making a pretty good case for Empath here. Maybe we'll see her pop up more than once in this tournament, which would certainly be a treat. I'm excited. This should be a hell of a game just by looking at these heroes.
I can't say, I saw a hero like Empath as kind of one of the surprise picks. I definitely had a couple in my mind, and we'll see, of course, throughout this event if maybe we'll see them or not. But Empath was definitely not one of my lists. But she does have some strong presence. I know a lot of people are not a fan of her third ability. I will say, it definitely can be powerful. It is one of those abilities where, similar to Glacier, put that one level into it at least. Can definitely really make it very powerful. But now the Q and the W, the wall and the life link, those are essence link, excuse me. Those are actually very powerful in the harassment stage as well. Let's not forget about that. So we're talking about so much about the late game. Early game, she can actually be a very good babysitter. So here we go. There we go. Crowd just needed a shot of them apparently, and then they started to get into it a little bit more. So, but finally, it looks like we are ready to resume this match here at Fnatic Raid Call versus BlackFade.org. So unless apparently we had another DC coming out, which is actually looks like it may happen. So
do we? Is the blue screen bug going around?
Very possible. You know what? They're not pausing, so maybe not actually. I guess we should be good here.
Perhaps
for these two teams.
Some nerd humor.
Just a little bit of hoping not. So yeah, it looks like we are good now. But all right. So again, though, here we go. Empath. He is going to be paired up with Predator from the laning phase. And again, very good harasser with that Essence Leak, with that wall ability, even if you want to go for kills or hell, even save yourself. So we'll see if that is needed to be used. Probably not, as they are going up against the bubbles here at this top lane. Yeah,
Predator should have a very good time in that top lane. Looks like a Luna Pebble's going to be in the mid for our Hellborn side. Then, of course, Tundra going to be suicide laning it down in the bottom. And it looks like he's going to be going up against kind of a pseudo tri-lane here, and Amphora, Kronos, and Engineer hanging around. I doubt that tri-lane will stick around. I think Kronos will be able to farm very nicely with just one range support. So we'll see where either Engineer or Nymphora ends up as this game continues. And it could be interesting. I mean, the two of them could opt for sort of that dual roaming ability, strategy, depending on how well Kronos does to start things off. And some of it depends on Flux as well against this Aluna Pebbles. This is sort of a mid combo that we don't get to see too frequently, as Flux is a bit of a rarity. So we'll see. With Flux's low range, Aluna should be able to harass him back fairly well. But we'll see how Fly fares. Already, though, Empath getting very aggressive on this Bubbles, as we see that Essence Link doing a lot of damage. Predator coming in here, and I don't think he's going to be able to get there in time to set up a kill. But as we were talking about, Predator already off to a good start, picking up a couple of creep kills.
Yeah, and that was actually at the bottom lane in the meantime. We did see a Tundra right off the bat taking some very heavy harassment from Engineer. And Nymphora, as you were talking about, being down at the bottom lane with Kronos. As they should be. If you are going to invest all that into a tri-lane at the bottom lane, obviously you need to make sure that hero not only doesn't get creep kills, but is out of experience range. So they're going to do their best to make sure that happens. Now, I will say, picking up a hero like Flux, obviously you go with a pick like that, going to be played by Fly here for Fnatic Raid Call. Wanting to get some very effective farm on him early on, I'm sure. And, with this lane setup, may not be the most ideal, but that Magnetic Surge of his is actually a pretty solid last hitting ability. It can be used for last hits. It's a very short cooldown. Very short, I guess, but 10 seconds, not too bad for the laning phase. And it's only 20 mana at level 1. That's nothing. Nothing, even for a hero like Flux. Now he's going to take the pressure in the middle lane. We do see Flux driving below half-life. Are we going to see that bloodless kill? Nice Q coming out for like, there's the bloodless kill, though, with the power throw from Aluna. Meanwhile, Keg will hit Pebbles and smack Donald in some trouble, but just out of range. Health potion going to be activated right there. So very good escape in the end. Bloodless kill though coming out from BlackFade here.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about having Aluna and Aluna paired with the Pebbles in the mid lane like that. So much burst potential. That's what makes Aluna so powerful as a support, is she can put out the magic damage like that. Paired with the Pebbles, it's no surprise to see an outcome as we saw just there. Things continuing in the top lane though. Empath still being very aggressive, and we see Predator farming pretty nicely to start things off, sitting just below 300 GPM here on the Hellborn side, and Aluna as well as Pebbles both farming very nicely as well in the mid lane. I believe Aluna was actually the one to pick up that bonus gold for the Bloodlust, so going to inflate Mzai's farm just a little bit. But speaking of good farm, Era down here on this Chronos is leading the way now above 300 GPM to start things off.
Shocker.
Shocker.
Not really. Yeah, you know, again, as expected, Era on Chronos off to a very good start here for our Fnatic Recall team here on the Legion side, and that is something that the Hellborn team no doubt will have to start paying attention to in the near future. Not too soon, though. It is still very early on in the game, but obviously you don't want to let them get too crazy. But I will say you got your Pebbles, you got your Predator, you know, actually up there pretty well. Pebbles especially is just past that 300 GPM moment himself. And currently just bought something. I'm guessing boots are going to be on the way, maybe even bottle. And so a great early start for him. Now, this is the curious thing. You know, were we going to see an earlier adjustment from Fnatic as a result of these lanes? You're kind of talking about that. Stalagmites will hit fly right here, but Flux is just so damn tanky, being that range strength hero. He will survive. Oh, no, the double damage right on Aluna, enough to get the Kona Flux right there. And Aluna going for 2 kills. If that auto attack went off, she would have gotten it, but Mzai canceled it at the last second to go for the power throw. Yeah. So Engineer is able to get away, but still, double damage rune. Very effective early on in this game. Yeah, double damage, of course, turning the tide a little bit there. Luna actually going to go back in on Engineer here, still with that double damage rune on, and I think Engineer going to be in big trouble. Hani is going to fall, though he does manage to pick up a kill, so a 1-for-1 Hani for Mzai. Mzai already 3-1, only 4 minutes into this match. Yeah, that was really big cojones right there. Coming on our Luna player. And Mzai, that name, man. That name just gets you as a caster. But yeah, so able to dive onto Engineer, and at least he got the kill first. That's really what matters. So definitely a solid start for him. Pebbles in the meantime, though, look at Flux coming back to the lane and Smackdown. Not enough mana for Chuck or Stalagmite. The final auto attack, and even had enough down to get the Smackdown kill on top of that. So Fly, great job getting some revenge right there. I mean, he just came into the lane and just dominated Pebbles right away, so that was kind of shocking to see. Exactly right. And Nymphora going to be able to pick up that regeneration rune to at least deny its pick. And now Aluna going to be in big trouble. Flux is going to come in. There's the keg from Ani. And I think Aluna is destined to fall. Down she goes. Fly going to be the one to pick up that last hit. So Fnatic going to level it out now. All tied up 3-3. One thing to note, though, down in this bottom lane, Tundra is struggling so much. Kezu can't even get near the creeps. He's struggling in gold farm and struggling even more in that XP per minute farm. We see he's going to get engaged on here, though. Hani going to run around the back. He's going to be able to land a positive keg. Actually going to get juked by Kezu. Nice control, but he still may fall here. A beautiful Nymphora Zeal going to catch him. Chronos going to go in, and down he goes. Hani going to finish him off with an auto attack. So well done by Fnatic. These two roaming supports doing a hell of a job so far. Yeah, the lack of levels, the lack of farm on Tundra just really hurting him, and a perfect example of that right there. So, again, great aggression from Fnatic coming out, setting up that gank there on the bottom line, lane, excuse me, and able to get another kill for them. And talk about these kills, man. I mean, we already have 4-3 hero kills, and we're actually only 5.5 minutes into this game. So very aggressive play coming out on both these sides right now. We do look back at the middle lane. Speaking of aggressive play, Engineer once again here for Flux if he chooses to maybe get some initiation going, but Flux being level 4 may not be too confident that they have enough damage. But something else addressing as well when they were jumping Flux earlier was the fact of how beefy he actually is at the earlier levels, especially, you know, being that range strength hero. I mean, we see right now, he's got a Crushing Claws, a couple of minor totems, and he's already sitting at 834 life, being level 4. So quite a bit of life that you have to go through if you do want to get a kill on him, but it did work out earlier. You know, double damage rune once again does help. So 6-minute rune is going to spawn bottom though, and Nymphora is actually there, however, to protect it, and in fact, picked it up herself. So an invisible Nymphora coming middle lane. We'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, no wards for the Hellborn side down there, so Nymphora may sneak up on him. They have absolutely no idea, other than the fact that Nymphora is missing. So they are going to play a little bit defensively here. We see Smackdown on Pebbles going to head back up the hill and play it safe for now, as it may be. We'll see, though, Nymphora is still hanging around. Pebbles slowly creeping forward and kind of playing with fire here a little bit, Berkey. He definitely is. Again, Nymphora just right on the tail. We do see Tundra back at base, actually, taking a lot of harassment. Looks like he was in the jungle, so jungle creep's doing some work right there, but he's going to be fine. Meanwhile, at the top lane, no, never mind. I thought there was a hero up there. My bad. The invisible Nymphora still exists, though, as we do see about 15 seconds remaining. So will Pebbles push up far enough? Will Smackdown will put himself in a bad position so far. He's going to be fine. Look at the Flux. So he says, screwed up, had enough waiting. He pulls him in right there. There's that Q coming out. That keg's gonna fall. The shell serve on top of that. And Smackdown has absolutely no chance getting away right there. And another kill coming out for Fnatic Recall. Just great execution. Flux. I mean, we talk about that ultimate pull in all the time. That magnetic surge, though, such a powerful ability. You just get close enough to use it. you'll set up some great kills.
Yeah, absolutely right. And you're certainly right about that, and a nice kill for Fnatic, and level things out. What's really interesting about this game, though, is it's pretty much a battle of free farm for the carries. A beautiful illusionary veil going to trap in Hani, absolutely nowhere to go, and he's going to fall. So right there, Insania demonstrating the power of Empath for us and how really powerful that wall can be when used early on. But before that kill, the point I was going to make is it's interesting we're seeing a completely free farming Chronos. Of course, KheZu has abandoned the lane, and the same outcome in the top lane as well. Predator just free farming. So we truly will get to see what happens when you have a free farming Chronos going head to head with a free farming Predator.
Yeah, and you could definitely argue that maybe that even implies more the fact that it's going to be about the team surrounding him. If you have two equally heroes, getting that equal farm, looking pretty powerful, then where do they stand next to line? It is a 5 versus 5 team game after all, in case you weren't aware of what you're seeing on your screen, but no, so and I think that obviously is going to be better for Black Fade. You got a Pebbles, 280 gold per minute right now. He is getting closer and closer to that portal key. He does go the Steam Boots route though first, so of course Steam Boots on bottle puts him back a little bit from the PK, but not necessarily something that they're trying to really rush too quickly, I guess. But on top of that, Empath is still level 4, so not going to be able to be going on top of anybody just yet with their ultimate, but we'll keep an eye on that as well. Again, being a hero that we just never see on the competitive scene. Always fun to see how they fare in games like this, and we'll see when she gets her ultimate, how powerful it actually can be in a game like this.
Yeah, and we see up in the top lane here, Predator getting very manly against Bubble, sort of considering diving that tower. Hani did pour it in and throw a keg, and that was enough to keep Predator back. So NoTail is going to be able to survive to tell the tale of the time Predator almost killed him in the top lane, but he is going to be able to head back to safety. We see Bubbles is back, though, and Empath is up here now. This time NoTail may not be so lucky as the Empath Predator combo engages on it. We see him using the Shell Surf, not going to jump as Predator was there ready and waiting. Nice positioning from LesQQ, though he's not going to be able to connect with a leap here. And we'll see. Bubbles trying to get into a safe spot. What's on the courier? Absolutely nothing. And no port for Bubbles, nowhere to go. And he is going to fall. And Sania going to be the one to pick up that kill. Now 2-0 on that Empath. In the mid lane as well, Fly going to be able to pick up that kill onto SmackDonald. So again, Flux doing very, very well, now sitting 3-2-1.
Yeah, I was just watching the top like you, so unfortunately didn't catch that middle action, but you see the 3 heroes there on the 1, it's pretty obvious. It's self-explanatory. Once again, they'll pull in from Flux, I'm sure, set up an easy kill onto Pebbles. Meanwhile, speaking of kills on the bottom lane, Chronosphere coming out on top of Luna. The keg's down, perfectly placed, of course, as you would expect, and there's that keg on, or the turret on top of that. So, kill coming out for Era right there. That is more bad news here for our Hellborn team. Now, 409 plus GPM. Sustainer already finished with the Steam Boots. Well on his way to what I would expect to be that Ruin Cleaver here early on in this game.
Yes, certainly right, especially in a game like this where there's so much free farming going on, so much time spent in lane. I would be shocked if he didn't pick up a Ruin Cleaver here, so I certainly agree with you in that aspect. And I'm actually going to be curious to see where Predator goes. He does have that bolstering armband, so possibly just going to go for a fast Frostburn to start stuff off.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. I mean, Ice Brand I know is eventually to the Frost will skull, especially Ice Brand can be considered to be a very powerful item on a hero like Predator, being the strength hero as well could definitely help, or be a big reason for that. But just getting it slow on top of that Venomous Leap to help keep people near you, as well as the Terror ability increasing your own movement speed. So obviously as a hero like Predator, you want to be next to people as much as possible and just be nomming at them with your right-click auto attack and the carnivorous doing work. So, and we did see I believe we saw the Mighty Blade purchase. So, I think you are correct, at least on the Ice Brand route. We'll see if it eventually turns into the Frostburn. I mean, the movement speed can definitely help for that sake as well. But I don't know. We'll see if he decides to go something else on top of that. I mean, Shrunken Head, he does have Magic Carp, or not Magic Carp, wow. By the way, at the bottom lane, KheZu in a lot of trouble on Tundra. May go down here, and yes, Chronos will get the kill. We did see Engineer there for assistance. Another kill for Chronos.
Yeah.
Ugh,
oh, man. I mean, level 9 Chronos versus level 5 Tundra, and that's kind of what we would expect to happen. KheZu doesn't have that ultimate and not much he could do. In the mid lane, though, Flux actually going to use that ultimate to pull in Pebbles. Pebbles turns it around onto NoTail with the combo, so he is going to have to pay the ultimate price. Again, same story, different chapter. Level 8 Pebbles versus level 4 Bubbles. What are you going to do?
Not going to live through that one. So, yeah, a little bit of misfortunate timing right there coming out. From our Fnatic team, but Pebbles, he's like, well, thank you very much. I'll gladly take that. So SmackDown, good for him getting his first hero kill. But those 3 deaths have no doubt put a damper on his what was a very good, it still is actually a pretty solid goal per minute mark but he is getting delayed more and more from that portal key, and obviously Pebbles is one of those heroes, you know, prefers to snowball, as I guess, you know, most heroes in that case would, but, you know, especially a hero like Pebbles, if he does fall behind, really not going to bring nearly as much of a use to your team. So we'll keep an eye on that once again. But yeah, Ice Brand has been delivered here to Predator, so it did indeed end up being that. But yeah, something I want to talk about with the Stonehide ability. With the second ability, of course, makes it Magic Immune, but, you know, Shrunken Head on top of that, it could just help that much more, you know, when you go into those team fights. Obviously, a lot of team fights, they will tend to last longer than the 3.75 seconds that Stonehide currently lasts. At level 1, I believe what does it go up to, actually? Let's double check on that. 5.25, so even that, I mean, it can still last longer than that. Very good chance, in fact. So having that Shrunken Head to pop after even, very useful, so.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. It's one of those sort of synergies where you look at it and go, well, why would I need two? But as that Shrunken Head slowly goes down with each use, it really becomes kind of viable on Predator, and of course being a strength hero does benefit from picking up that additional strength on the item as well.
Yeah.
So certainly does synergize with Predator. Again, still just curious to see what he's going to do with this Ice Brand. I would be a little surprised to see him go straight for a Frostwolf Skull, but time will tell, per usual. And we'll see. You know, if this was a month or two ago, I probably never would have suggested that Firebrand, but Frostburn, pardon me.
Yeah.
But you know, we've just been seeing it so much more recently. I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, I mean, we saw last game for that matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely.
Important case.
And there you go. He does actually pick up a quick blade, so does tend to believe now that perhaps a Frostburn very likely in the making here for Predator. So sure enough, going to be going for that. Kronos, on the other hand, did just finish his Rune Cleaver here. Here now at the bottom jungle, going to start farming that. Of course, some stacks going on for him. N4 did a good job of assisting with that, and going to Hansen's farm that much more. But at the top lane in the meantime, Predator will get a tower kill for his team, and that'll help with a gold overall. In fact, now a 1,300 gold lead in favor of BlackFade.org. So, I mean, both teams definitely going through some positive marks. Again, I keep going back to Kronos is up there, man. 470 GPM. The spread is a little bit better on the Help One team, but it really isn't even that much better. So, I think for Fnatic right now, they definitely are feeling, and on top of that, I mean, let's not forget, they have a crazy teamfight team when it comes to their synergy. So that's something else big time that you're going to have to worry about.
Yeah, absolutely right. And Kronos with the Rune Cleaver is really what makes me a little bit nervous, because Kronos has been out-farming Predator pretty consistently in this game, just in kind of an equal environment. They were both having free farm in their respective close lanes, and really in a similar position. Now that Kronos has that Rune Cleaver, we're going to see that farm just skyrocket. And I think in a couple minutes here, 5-10 minutes, we're going to see Kronos just leagues ahead of Predator. I mean, all things equal, there's just no way for Predator to farm as fast as Kronos when he has a Rune Cleaver.
Yeah, you know, Rune Cleaver, obviously an item, you know, a lot of melee heroes will pick it up simply for the farming aspect. In fact, we see right here a jump onto Aluna, and I don't know if you're going to be getting away from that one. Aluna, no deja vu. That Chronosphere been coming out, anticipating the ports. Obviously, they were coming in, so Era made sure that they could not react to them. We do see Impact jumping on top of Predator, though, and now we're going to see a bit of that chase inbound this team. The Stalagmites will miss right there. That killing of bubbles, though, happening, and Predator did a lot of damage. Going to turn around, though, in the end. So screw it. I'm not going to be able to chase you down, I guess, so not going to keep following. But yeah, Predator is showing some power right there. However, he needs to be careful as Kronos is still looking there with the Flux Ball in. We do have a vote to pause coming out from BxF. We do see Predator running away. Ooh. And so going to once again be a little bit suspenseful right here on what is actually going to happen. Apparently, I don't know if that was maybe he had to just restart or if that actually disconnected, but yeah, yeah, not
wow.
being there.
Yeah, that was really sort of, again, a terrible time to pause. This is one of those, what's everybody going to do? It looks like Predator might actually be able to get away. Flux, it seemed like Fly used that ult just a little bit too early, as the rest of his allies here just didn't seem ready for it. Now they're lagging behind, and I don't think they're going to be able to connect with a stun or slow to snare this Predator.
I mean, Kronos does have a time loop. The range on that is actually can be pretty ridiculous. It is a 1,300 range.
Well,
so
let's pull out the ruler, Breaky. Let's see here. We've got some time, and you're right. Actually, it is going to be close. We see the ruler here. It's all right. I take that back. It's at around 1,200. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be close here for our Kronos player. Like I said, it looks like it is very, very close and being in range here. So we'll see if he is able to catch up to the Predator and chase him down. About the audio issue, we are aware. Our production team definitely very aware. They have been doing their best to try to fix that as soon as possible. You know, it's one of those kits kind of on the fly, and maybe somewhat difficult. But hopefully after the match, can take a look at it and look to get it fixed. But So we ask you to kind of bear with it for the sake of the match continuing. You know, the last thing we want to do is delay everything even more. And it's already been delayed. So here we go. Let's get it on with these two teams. Again, BxF taking on Fnatic. Is the chase going to happen? There goes the time blade. The slow was applied. Predator in a lot of trouble. No Stonehide. And yes, he'll fall down. Now reaction coming out from Pebbles as well as Aluna. They are going to turn it around on a Kronos actually. So it ends up being a 1-for-1. And they may be able to take on another hero. Engineer in a lot of trouble. Doesn't have enough mana either for Keg or his turret. We do see that negative surge perhaps trying to be used defensively right there. Is it going to be enough? It looks like Engineer actually is going to get away. Now he needs to be careful though. Another power throw is up in 3 seconds. You can guarantee Umzai is perhaps going to go. No, he's going to go the other direction actually. Very surprising. Piercing shards couldn't do the trees though. And Engineer will be completely exposed. There's the avalanche. And the cold shoulder coming out from KZU. So finally, they do take out Engineer. 1-for-1 exchange with the Kronos Predator, so actually that ended up playing out pretty well for BxF.
Yeah, definitely, and I have to say, Breaky, that was a good call on the time leap. I guess I hadn't realized it was that long of a range, and they caught him no problem. So, you know, some of that pause theory crafting we just throw out the window there, I suppose. But certainly good, and we still have a hell of an even game here. Of course, BxF ahead by just a little bit of gold experience, dead even. And something tells me we're going to be seeing a long match here for CPK.
Yeah, I told you that from the hero selection stage. Very, very black even from there. By the way, in the middle lane, Pebbles jumping Bubbles with a double damage rune. Never somebody you want to run into. So easy kill right there. We did see them reporting in though. Flux with a pull on a Predator, but of course that magic. Why do I keep calling that? I want to say Magic Carp. That's not Myrmidon. I don't even know how I'm getting that confused. Stonehide being used right there from Predator. So Prosperin obviously finished on him. So. Yeah, I mean, Hellborn team, now I wouldn't be surprised if they do try to perhaps play a little bit more aggressive with that early farm here on a Predator. In fact, they are going to leave on a Flux. A lot of damage coming out using that release of his, but not going to be nearly enough to stay alive. And the Empath once again on top of Predator, now chasing out this Engineer. No stun though, and it looks like he will get away. So, but again, shows you the power of Predator, especially with some team support. If he leaps in there, gets things going, can definitely start tearing you up. So. Good catch on a Flux, and now some pushing coming in here. Yeah,
I mean, the burst potential from our Hellborn team, I think, was displayed pretty clearly there as they picked up that kill. It's kind of unfortunate. As that was happening, though, I just had a thought. Flux's ultimate. Now, is that going to go through the Stonehide of Predator if he has it up? Is Discharge physical or magic?
I believe it's Superior Magic.
Superior Magic, all right. Another one of these funky things. You know, this is Parasite over Shrunken Head all over again, Breaky.
Yeah.
This is... just one of those interesting thoughts that comes about.
Yeah, so it definitely should still work, and of course with it being global and everything. So,
but Nullstone would prevent that.
It would deactivate Nullstone. Yes. By the way, again, Bubbles. Bubbles is Pebbles' bitch this game apparently. Smackdown once again finding him, and No-Tail once again dying. So. You know, not rare, or it is rare to say this. It's almost an insult there, but rare to see this, that No-Tail is actually struggling here early on when it comes to his at least having the 5 deaths. Engineer in the meantime going to pour down. Oh, but the Alonis at the last second, and that'll guarantee the kill. In fact, Lesky Q on that Predator turns around and takes the last hit. So what timing from Aluna right there. That had to be a fraction of a second away. Bottom tower push in the meantime for Tundra. He is going to get the tower kill. Ports are coming in, but he got the tower kill, got what he came for. Kronos is going to time leap. There's a Shell Serpent, will catch Tundra. The kill field coming out. There's the time leap, and Tundra. KZU trying to maybe buy some time for his teammates to come over. Is it going to be enough? The avalanche on Kronos, stopping him for now. And here's that team support. It looks like he is going to get away. What an escape from KZU right there. And now turn around by Tetra Kronos. That shock to the air on Umzai on that Aluna. The runaway attempt now for Bubbles will avoid the stalagmites, but dies in the end. Now Kronos getting caught, and Kronos may very likely fall here. That Chronosphere comes out, but not going to matter. Insania with the kill. What a turnaround fight for BlackFade.org.
Wow, I mean, we had a game that was dead even just 2 minutes ago, and now look at this. BlackFade up 16-10, almost 10K gold, 6K experience. I mean, they are picking up this momentum, and they are running with it. A lot of that is thanks to Pebbles' portal key being able to pick up a couple of those kills kind of sporadically, but now they're going to be able to push these towers and pick up the first Tier 2 tower kill of the game, and we see Fnatic Raid Call yet to take out a single Tier 1 tower.
Yeah, that is huge right now. That 9,100 goal lead is just immense here. 20 minutes into the game, we do see Predator once again turning onto our Fnatic team. Now the tower attempted to deny, but it will go down to BlackFade. You see him pounding on a Flux. There's the pull out with the Engineer Ultimate. That's what they were looking for when it comes to the combination. You see the damage of it. Aluna falls, as well as Empath, and Predator's like, well, crap. Stone Knight going to be used, the port out. Oh, yes, he's going to be fine, of course. So,
that
it's
flux
on the
graphic.
I'm like, oh, maybe something's going to happen. No, no, it didn't
that
happen,
flux
yeah.
graphic, every single time, you feel like it should interrupt because it pulls them, but it does not. It does not mini-stun, so you can still port out. It's
So he's fine.
always catches me off guard.
That's the good news there for Black Fade. They did get the tower kill as well, which is pretty big.
And Predator was the one to pick up the last hit, which is also important to note. And glancing at the GPM tab, whoa, what a change. Predator now leading the way about 460 GPM, as we see Kronos is slowly dipping down, now around 400. It seems as soon as he picked up that Rune Cleaver, Black Fade was really smart to kind of get a little more aggressive. Part of it was timing with that Pebbles portal key as well, but really good timing. This is that time when Kronos is like, yeah, I made this economic investment and I don't have much to show for it, and they're kind of capitalizing on that. I like this from Black Fade.
Yeah, no, and I was going to bring this point up earlier, but again, Black Fade was already doing it, so it's obviously very much smarter players. I'm not afraid to admit that. Much smarter players than me, so it's no surprise to see that. But as soon as they got that Frostburn on Predator, obviously they were well aware that Kronos was getting free from at the bottom lane. They're like, you know what? We feel like we have the stronger team right now. Let's go ahead and take it to Fnatic Raid Call, take advantage of the fact it's really just Kronos, and around him, not doing too well. We have a couple of supporting casts that is doing fairly well. And, you know, we probably have the better aggressive gotcha team, which they definitely do. You know, we talk about the team fight team for our Legion side with the synergy that they have with the AoEs. You've got a very aggressive gank team here on the Hellborn side, and that has been working big time to their favor. Up 16-12 in hero kills, and his very aggressive play has no doubt paid off. 460 gold for him on Predator. Again, one of those cases, really curious to see what next shadows we do see on both him and Kronos for that matter. I mean, Kronos is sitting on that blessed orb, so possibly a Null Stone in the makings for him, or it could be Geometer. I mean, it could be many things. But
I mean, look at these items from the Hellborn side, though. We see Empath has already picked up an Abyssal Skull, which is relatively rare to see one this early on, even though I love the choice. Yeah, on a support. I mean, I love that choice, just relatively rare. And we see Predator picking up a nice early Soul's Bulwark. Nothing rare about that, but a great item to have. Of course, synergizing very nicely with that Terror that also reduces armor.
So they are going to go for a Conqueror kill here, and the Legion team completely blind at the Conqueror pit. So BlackFade.org very likely going to steal a Conqueror kill right here. And yeah, Fnatic has no clue right now. There's no way they would just let this be happening. I mean, with their team, this is the perfect place to fight. So this is going to be a huge steal for BlackFade. That text is going to pop up, and they're going to go, well, crap, that sucks. So we're going to have to deal with a Token of Life now, which, lo and behold, is going to be on Predator. No surprise there. Look at this. Empath goes on a Predator. The ports are coming in, so they want some kills now on some heroes. Nice turret going to be used, kind of slowing them down. Port out from Bubbles, and No-Tail will be fine. So I love the idea there from Black Fade, but Fnatic just a little bit too quick to react to it.
Yeah, and you know, part of this really super aggressive play that Black Fade has been doing here, especially with that timing, is really key. We see Nova putting down a Warded Sight on this defensive plateau, and that's doing absolutely nothing for them now. And of course, opening that opportunity for Congo. You see at the top, the Bound Eye actually going to drop as Kezu gets taken down. Kronos will fall though. Now Predator stuck inside the Engineer ulti is going to finish it off for a little bit of bonus gold and continue the pursuit. Are they going to be able to catch somebody? Engineer going to juke into the trees here, and it looks like Hani going to be able to port out just fine. And that is going to be all for that engage. So it looks like a 1-for-1 Tundra for Kronos with that Bound Eye hitting the ground. Who picked it up, or was it destroyed? I don't see it in these inventories, so I believe it was destroyed.
Yeah, very, very possible that it was. Yeah, I think you're right. So that is good there. But yeah, that killing of Kronos, man, I mean, they definitely just caught him again, just taking advantage of the fact they have such an aggressive team for catching you off guard. And they're really putting it together here. In Black Fade, the 3-player push here at the top lane. We do see a little bit of initiation as Empath running into Flux, actually. And speaking of Flux, I mean, he obviously was at somewhat of a mismatch in that middle lane, going 1 versus 2 for a good amount of it. His farm wasn't horrible, but he really hasn't, you know, shined for this Fnatic team. But the thing is, and I guess, you know, as I'm saying that, I realize, you know, Flux isn't a hero that's going to shine on his own. He is all about being that team play hero. Not only with even the magnetic surge, you can say, obviously now they can use it on allies, but of course his ultimate for synergizing so well with the team once again. But we did see a little bit of it used with the Engineer ultimate. Hasn't happened since. We're now 25 minutes into the game. Yeah. Obviously, I'm sure you'd want to at least a couple more times for Fnatic.
Yeah, and what's kind of interesting about this timing right here is it looks like Black Fade is really far ahead. You know, they're about to take out, or at least doing some damage to the last remaining outer tower for Fnatic. And one would think, all right, so next step, they're just going to be able to push in the base. This is going to be an easy win.
Yeah.
But no, Fnatic has a team, of course, great for team fights, but really great for defending. It's going to be so painfully difficult for Black Fade to break through that stronghold, given all of these ultimates. One misstep, we're going to see that Engineer Flux ultimate combo absolutely destroy Black Fade's aggression. We see Fly actually able to score a nice deny on that last Tier 2 tower. But all that's left is the base, or those Tier 3 towers. Also, Flux has picked up that portal key, so that will make the aggression for Black Fade that much more difficult.
They make it a good catch right into Pebbles. Nice stalagmite, though, stopping Era in his tracks, and it is going to buy him time to actually get away. So Pebbles, good job, able to run away from the danger zone there. Definitely a nice deny on that middle end, as you're talking about, though, by Flux coming out. But as you also stated, it's a case of now you're out of your outer towers. You only have your base towers left. So again, continues to show you how aggressive this Black Fade team has had for their benefit. We do see Luna on a Bubbles in the meantime. The power throw got the juke on the take cover, and now gonna go for the kill. No Toe in a lot of trouble, no way of getting away other than porting a Luna. No, not gonna be enough. The last auto attack. What a play by Umzai, though. Had the presence of mind to cancel the power throw, baiting the shell or the take cover from Bubbles, and eventually did the damage as a result. So very well played by Umzai.
Yeah, very well played and a very deserving kill right there. So it's going to further the lead of Black Fade. We see Smackdown on Pebbles with yet another invisibility rune activated. He's going to walk right by that Ward of Rev. Nymphora
like,
trying to play it safe, and she's going to run him into the team. So a great play from Nova. Instead of trying to attack or reveal him, she's going to try to bait him into the team. He is going to be able to pick up a kill onto Nova regardless, but at what cost, of course? Well, it is going to be his own life. He's going to fall. Hani is going to pick up that kill. In comes the Chronosphere, pardon me, doing a lot of damage to Empath, but is it going to be enough? No, going to be able to hop right into that Predator. Chrono's going to hop out, but look at that leap. Down goes Era. LesQQ going to pick up that double tap. And again, Empath showing us her power right there, not only buffing Predator, but also staying alive when it's all said and done.
I was going to say, they need to make sure to kill that Empath because he's going to jump into Predator, but we talked about that earlier. Perfect example right there. If she stays alive, she has the ultimate on cooldown, she'll jump into the nearest hero. Just so happened to be a Predator, so that worked out very well for her, and able to easily turn that that Chronosphere around. Just great teamwork overall. Predator definitely showing his power with that demonic press by finish, and let's not forget, he also has 2.5 minutes about still remaining on that token of life, so he's going to go balls to the walls here, not really too worried about dying. In fact, that may be happening in the near future. Oh, is he going to stay alive? Just barely the kick, not enough to finish him. He's going to chase down Bubbles, and look at Bubbles falling as if he's just leather right there, and maybe Cloth would be better, but anyways, gets the kill once again. So Black Fade is just knocking on the door here of Fnatic Raycard. They're doing what they can to hold them off, but I don't think it's going to matter. I mean, they're going to get this tower. We'll see if they get the racks. 5 seconds on the resurrection for Chronos.
Yeah, Predator was still with 2 minutes left on that token, so I don't think Black Fade's going to back up anytime real soon here. I mean, if Predator goes down, that's kind of what they want, going to bring him back up to full health and full mana. So he's going to go balls to the wall here, and it looks like he's going to engage on Flux. Flux is actually going to go down before Predator. Predator's still alive. Era goes down, and this is looking a bit grim for Fnatic Raycall at this point. Only Nymphora Engineer left. The melee racks are going to fall. The range rack's going to be shortly after. I don't know how Predator's still alive.
Carnivorous, the new overpowered ability in this game, that was ridiculous. That was a perfect choice, obviously. He was hitting on a Flux, you know, taking away his life and everything, and stealing for himself. But as a result of that Carnivorous, I thought he was dead for sure. I mean, I'm sure he did. I mean, he had the token of life, so I was like, whatever. But we do see they're going to one last hold right here. The pull them out Predator activates that Stone Knight, destroys Engineer Ultimate, and now Flux once again, look at him just drop to the ground. Predator just hits way too hard with that demonic breastplate and Carnivorous combination. The Terror also was used, and look at Bubbles go down. I think Black Fade is maybe moments away here from defeating Fnatic Raycall. Wow.
Wow, and the timing as well. I would have predicted this to be at least a 45-minute match. We're now just about at that 30-minute mark, and there are 2 lanes of racks down. This top lane of Melee Barracks will fall. The range racks shortly after, and the vote to kick Umzai.
You know what? Might as well. There we go, though. GG well played's being called.
Wow.
BlackFade.org defeats Fnatic Raycall here. They are now 2-0 as a result. Fnatic Raycall will fall to 1-1. What an important match that was. Black Fade comes out on top.
And that was a huge match for a couple of reasons. As we noted, and those of you who've been following along, both these teams won their first game. So they were both 1-0, and now Fnatic Raycall going to be 1-1 as Black Fade moves into a 2-0 situation. So
by the way, on a note, guys, for those that are here at the venue as well as you at home, we are going to be doing, once again, a post-game interview, so definitely stick around for that if you'd like. Of course, from blackfade.org, I don't know who it's going to be, but going to be somebody from there. So
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, that Predator pick, obviously very ballsy pick, very different style of pick, but again, carnivorous, man. I mean, he got that early farm. He got in those fights. Flux was his target of choice, and we saw for very good reason, especially in a lot of those fights. He was able to get so much life back and also do so much damage to him in the midst of it. It was ridiculous. I mean, the damage that he was doing that game.
You know, we also can't forget about that really early Abyssal Skull pickup from Empath, because that's additional lifesteal. It stacks with Carnivorous, so that's part of the reason why Predator was able to survive as well as he did. I mean, when that game was done, he still had the token in his inventory, so that speaks to sort of that power. And it really makes me wonder, I mean, how crucial was Empath to the success of Predator there? Is Predator really just that undervalued of a hero in our metagame, or is it that Predator-Empath combo that's really so deadly?
I think it's the one that you said first. I mean, I really, you know, especially when that strength metagame was so popular, the tanky metagame as we called it, it seems like Predator could actually be very useful for that when you think about it, you know, with that Carnivorous and just him being a kind of a beefy hero himself, which he could definitely be. So, obviously, Empath no doubt helped there. I mean, you just can't deny that. But I really do think, though, that Predator, you know, if we see him without Empath, there's still a possibility he could be strong. But, you know, despite we didn't see maybe a whole lot of Empath ultimates on him, I guess we kind of did. But, again, we can't forget that the laning presence, too, that she has is pretty powerful. So
yeah, that was, you know, as we've said from time to time, that first checkpoint is the laning phase. And, you know, Bubbles ending 1-9-4. I think saying No Tail struggled is an understatement in that game.
Yeah.
Really getting picked on by Pebbles, unfortunately.
All right, and as you can see on your screen, guys, while we're waiting for this interview to come up, we did talk about this earlier, of course, for the Dreams Come True event that we're running here at S2 Games. If you actually want a chance to win a trip to the DreamHack Winter 2012 event, come here with the S2 staff, you know, kind of see the event for yourself, because let me tell you this, I mean, obviously the tournament is great and all, but this event as a whole, it's an awesome experience. It's more than just the tournaments, even though that is a big part of it, but just, you know, meeting the people, meeting fellow gamers, meeting fellow eSport players. I mean, it's just all around just awesomeness.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it's great to be surrounded by fellow passionate nerds, like you said, all about the eSports, seeing all of these other events.
So now what you're going to do, guys, again, the question's on your screen, so if you go ahead and head over to the forums, actually go to DreamHon.com. You can connect to it that way, or if you go to the forums, the question will be up there on our poll. You just answer, when did HON have its first DreamHack tournament? Choice is, of course, Summer 2010, Winter 2010, Summer 2011, or Winter 2009. So I know the answer.
You know the
answer? I'm not going
answer?
to tell you, though.
I have a guess. I don't know 100% for sure, but I have an educated guess.
All right, we'll see. We'll see if you're right. Of course, you need to get 7 of the 10 questions right, guys, to be eligible to actually get the random chance at being selected. So we'll see how that turns out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyways, I think we are going to be good for our interview here in just a couple of moments, but we're going to take a quick timeout, guys, and we'll be back. So stay tuned, guys. You're tuning into DreamHack coverage here at DreamHack Summer 2012, live from Jönköping, Sweden. I'm BxF.
I'm Zyori. Stay tuned.
Dude, it's like in my mouth, I swear.
TteS.